Yes, that's right. Pirates have made it to the British League Cup quarter-final, and their prize for that honour is to have a home and away quarter-final tie with the Workington Comets. Well, the Pirates have already been up to Workington and were successful in securing a 10-point advantage on aggregate by winning 50 points to 40 at Derwent Park. Well, the Pirates were due to return here a week ago, but unfortunately due to inclement weather, that match was rained off and was rearranged for tonight, when the Pirates will have their attempt to be successful in progressing to the semi-finals against the Comets. Tony Lindback, it's good to see you. You're becoming a regular in the British League Cup squad now.
Yeah, the British League Cup is good training for me to practice on English track and test some new things, so I hope it's coming to be good today.
Absolutely. Now, you weren't at Workington for the first leg, so this is the first time tonight that you'll have met this team, yes?
Yeah, no.
And how do you prepare for that? Are you happy that the team out there, they're not known to you, but you're suitably prepared, I trust?
I don't know really who drive for the other team, but only thing I know are that they are very good riders, and so I don't have something special today. I have just coming here, coming to have fun, talk with little people, and just be myself.
Do you tend to take every race as it comes and not analyse who's in the race with you and just go out there to try and win?
What? One more time.
Do you try to go out and analyse each race, or do you just go out there and say, doesn't matter who's in it, I'm just going out to win?
I come and go, when I stand on the track with a start line, I come just to do everything to win, so...
And you certainly succeeded in doing that a few times already.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, it's always a pleasure to see Chris Harris at Poole. Chris, a bonus for us tonight because, of course, you're taking the place of the injured Simon Stead.
Yeah, you know, Simon got injured guessing for Swindon, I believe, and done his arm, so had a phone call from Workington, and we're here again guessing.
That could be a bit of a good move for Workington because we know that you like the Poole track, and of course we saw you very successfully winning the Under-21 World Championship round here.
Yeah, you know, I like it here. It's a nice racing track. It'd be a bit different from when I won here with me Under-21, so but you know, I'm up for it, and hope we've got the right setup to score a few points.
How are the team bearing up to the fact they've got a 10-point margin to try and claw back?
I think they're up for it, you know, they're capable of doing it, so, you know, hope Stone can go out and lead from example, really.
Okay, well, I'm sure that you'll have a partner play in that. Well done and have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Well, certainly some of the Pirates Elite League members are still celebrating after their magnificent win here in the Elite League Championship playoff on Monday night, just 2 days ago. And of course that may leave one or two sore heads, not least of course for Neil Middleditch, but it looks as though maybe some of the supporters too have been overdoing it, because I have to say, disappointingly, once again for British League Cup, the terraces aren't packed with our fans. We saw a record crowd here on Monday. Maybe they've decided to put all their effort into that match, but nonetheless it's a shame that more people won't turn out for the British League Cup. But I wonder how Neil Middleditch is feeling and whether he's managed to get over the celebrations from 2 nights ago.
Yeah, I've sobered up now. I mean, I did have a couple of sherbets, and I think there's a lot of people in Poole on Tuesday morning with hangovers.
I've got to say, and I know we're talking about British League Cup tonight, but I must say a fantastic achievement for all the boys, and you could see it really meant the world to each and every one of you.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was it. I mean, I think possibly at the start of the meeting we were all a little bit tense, you know, a little bit more tense than I'd like to be, but then we sort of loosened up, and you know, come heat 9 we sort of piled the pressure on, and yeah, no, I mean the boys are fantastic, and I'm proud of it, all of them, and it was just, they wanted it as bad as I did.
We said at the end of the match that really that's now a third of the way to the triple that I know you've got your heart set on this year. It still is very much a possibility, but tonight, of course, it's all about British League Cup, one of those triple crown plans of yours. How are you feeling right now with a 10-point gap between the two sides?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a 10-point cushion, but as I say, I'm certainly not taking anything. I never do. You know, Speedway's a funny game; things can happen. So, yeah, you know, I'd like to say I was confident, but it's just one of those things. I'll just take it one race at a time. But hopefully, we'll get through this tonight. Okay. Okay, and the boys, obviously, is a new set of guys for you. How does that compare? Because one night you were talking about the Elite League Championship with 3 of the best riders in the world in the squad. Tonight, a little bit different. Yeah, that's right. But they're all professionals. They've all got a job to do. They know how to do it, and they're as keyed up because they wanted some more meetings. And if we go through tonight, there's another couple of meetings definitely for them.
Well, I hope certainly they do well tonight, and maybe we'll have a few more sherbets in a week or two's time.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Well, Neil may well be set up for what he believes is going to be a good evening, but I'm sure, Ian Thomas, you've got other ideas about that, and you're coming here. I know you've got a big hill to climb, as it were, but hopefully you feel confident too.
Yeah, we're going up a mountain backwards and blindfolded, aren't we? But we came here down here last week, and it was rained off. Matt asked us to come back this week. We're here. We'll do our best.
Now, I know in the press that you've made, certainly locally, you've made claims that Poole possibly, wouldn't say so far as cheating, but certainly going so far.
I would add, I haven't spoken to anybody at the Poole Press. In the Poole Press, it's probably lifted from the Workington Press.
Absolutely, and my view is that you're saying that Poole are stretching the limit, if you like, stretching the rules by the way in which they're fielding their team. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, from the sports credibility point of view, we saw a wonderful match here on Monday night for the League Championship, and I would like, on behalf of everybody at Workington, to congratulate Poole. It's a brilliant show. They've had a good year, and I'll give you for instance, we see young Lindback riding in the main body of the team against Coventry in the Elite League playoffs. Then a little second division Premier League club come down here, and Lindback is at reserve, and we see Scott Pegler up in the team. To me, that's taking the mickey a little bit, and I don't think it's very good for the credibility of the sport.
I know that there was questions about the fact that it's a requirement, I think, to use 3 Elite League riders in the British League Cup generally. And I think perhaps the Poole's defence was that they felt that if they'd have put another Elite League rider in, it might have actually made them stronger.
No, the thing is, Poole don't have a defence. We're here, I've had a word with the referee. We got it wrong, and when I say we, I mean the BSPA. This competition could be a cracking competition. I was on a committee that actually did a little bit of formulating for it. Unfortunately, we didn't formulate enough during the winter. It can add spice to both the fans of both leagues, and we didn't get it right. We let too many loopholes in the rules. We left so many rules that weren't written, and Poole, and I would probably do the same, I would add. Poole have jumped through one of those rules that was left to be broken. If it remains for next year, and I do genuinely believe it could have a lot of credibility if everybody plays the game and if we tighten the rules up. It's not much fun, I'll give you for instance, for a Premier League track to see Davy Watt, for instance, come with Kings Lynn as one of the heat leaders and then travel to Workington and he's a second string when it's the British League Cup. Things like that need sorting out. But the competition has been unfortunately it had some bad press, and until this match I haven't given any of it. I've supported the competition and still will. We down here will do our best. Hopefully we'll entertain the Poole fans tonight.
Well, I guess in any competition there's always going to be loopholes, and it's a learning curve for us all. But hopefully the British League Cup will end up with a positive result, and we may well see that proliferated next year.
Who knows? We don't know where we're going next year. Whether it's 1 league, 2 leagues, 53 leagues. But hopefully it'll all be sorted out. I don't think the British League Cup will be top of the agenda. I, for one, hope it stays, because we had no problems. Because in our group we were only had Premier League clubs in it, so we'd no problems. The interesting thing would have been we were rained off last week. It is technically, last week was past the cut-off day. Tonight is well past the cut-off day, but we agreed to come down and do it. But if this one had been rained off, where would we have been? Poole won the first leg, but the management committee can't act as a Poole's panel, no pun intended. The thing is, we were winners of our group, they were second. It's things like this that need tightening up. But we're here, it's going ahead, we want to entertain. Hopefully it's a good match for the crowd and they get their money's worth.
Well, whatever your view, I'm sure that the Pirates will certainly be hoping that they'll be successful this evening in any instant. And I'm sure that with a 10-point cushion, they must be feeling pretty confident. The fans certainly feel confident. And it's just a shame that a few more of the fans didn't come out to watch what hopefully will be an entertaining Speedway match. We've got the next 15 heats coming up for you. Certainly the best of those you'll be seeing courtesy of Graham. So let's go over and join him now.
Riders back on the line then. Craig Boyce on grid 1. Next to him in green on grid 2, former Grand Prix star Carl Stonehewer, captain of the Comets. Daniel Davidson in blue from grid 3, and on the outside it's Aiden COLLINS. And Craig Boyce, alongside him Daniel Davidson, get the Pirates underway with a good first bend, although Carl Stonehewer is quick to seize the gap up the inside and relegate Davidson into third place. But Craig Boyce it is out in front, hugging that line. Carl Stonehewer in second place. Daniel Davidson actually making his British League debut for Poole here at Wimborne Road, having been signed up at the start of the season, but such has been events, injuries and other fixtures that Davidson only just coming to Poole as we get well into October. The yellow flag indicates one to go. Craig Boyce out in front. It looks like the Pirates are going to consolidate their 10-point advantage from the first leg by taking a 4-2 here in Heat 1, although Carl Stonehewer trying for a do-or-die around the outside burst at the end of the race. It didn't work. In the battle of the skippers, it was Craig Boyce ahead of Carl Stonehewer. Daniel Davidson third, Aiden COLLINS fourth. 4-2 to the Pirates. Interesting lineup for Heat 3 with David Ruud making his return to Wimborne Road. He no longer features in the Elite League squad, but very much a part of this British League Cup outfit, and he's in the red helmet on grid 3. He obviously made way from the Pirates elite team with the arrival of Alice Drimmel, one of the heroes of that Elite League victory. And so it's David Ruud and tonight's guest from Newport, Scott Pegler, against Chris Harris, guest for Workington in the green, and he immediately takes the lead with his partner Blair SCOTT, Kauko NIEMINEN in the yellow helmet coming through to take third place. So had a feeling this one might be a heat reversal. Workington looking pretty strong here, and of course Scott Pegler does a lot of his racing in the lower division, so Poole on the tail end of a 4-2 in this one. Chris Harris, very astute guest to replace the injured Peter I. Carlson, and I think he will continue to give the Pirates top end fair run for their money tonight. We've seen Chris Harris already in action here this season on several occasions for both Trelawney and of course Peterborough, whom he's ridden with distinction in the Elite League, and he takes the checkered flag in race number 3 with David Ruud, steady second place for him, but in third place in yellow Kauko NIEMINEN and Scott Pegler at the back. It's 10 points to 8 after 3 races. Pirates still in the lead. Now we move on to race number 4, first time on the track this evening for the rider who probably single-handedly responsible for getting Poole through to the quarterfinals with a 19-point tally up at Wolverhampton in the final match in the league part of this competition. Magnus in the red helmet pairs up with Tony Primmer, and they come out against the Workington Comets number 5 Rusty Harrison and his partner number 7 Chris Collins in the yellow helmet. Up go the tapes, away they go, and it's Magnus ZETTERSTROM immediately into a first bend lead with Tony Primmer in second place for a potential 5-1, although I'm sure Rusty Harrison is going to have a bit of a blast. He usually does round here, but at the moment it's Magnus ZETTERSTROM from Tony Primmer and Rusty Harrison. Are the Pirates going to go into an early 6-point lead with a 5-1 here? No doubt about the leader. Magnus ZETTERSTROM is flying out in front and looking equally comfortable in second place. Tony Primmer, after a little bit of a hesitant start in heat number 2, where he nevertheless managed a third place. He's going to go one better this time, and with a lap to go, Pirates looking good for a 5-1, taking an early step towards the semi-finals of this competition, where they would be lining up against the Bellevue Aces. So that altogether a tougher northern opponent, but for now let's concentrate on the result of Heat 4. 5-1 to the Pirates, Magnus and Tony taking the maximum spoils, Rusty Harrison third for the Comets. So what can the Pirates do to stem the Comets fight back? They've got the pairing of David Ruud and Scott Pegler this time, and opposition comes in the shape of Rusty Harrison and Blair Scott. Maybe a share of the spoils if David Ruud can get one of his jet-propelled starts, because once he's in front, I don't think anyone's going to catch him, but he's got the difficult gate 4, he's in the red helmet, and he has not made the gate. Although he certainly gives a good blast round the outside, he knows to cook his way around that line, and there he is out in front of the two Comets. He's sort of blasted by them as if they were going backwards on that pitch turn exit. And so in the minor places we've got Rusty Harrison and Blair Scott chasing shadows, because David Ruud already disappeared off into the night, and that leaves Scott Pegler, who's riding consistently well and having a bit of a go to try and split the Comets. Battle very much for the minor places, because David Ruud, with a lap to go, takes the yellow flag, and Blair Scott in second place, riding the wider line. Rusty Harrison sticking to the inside, and Scott Pegler in close order, and I don't think he made it there. The end-on shot from our commentary positions suggests that that was a drawn race, 3 to each side, 30-24 the scoreline in favour of the Pirates. Moving on to race number 10 now, and this time it's the turn of Craig Boyce to see if he can lower the colours of Chris Harris. Chris so far 3 races, including a one-tack sub, unbeaten by a Pirate, and it's Craig Boyce, of course, with 2 wins to his credit, the home skipper. Let's see, of course, Chris does have the slight gate advantage insofar as he's on the inside of Craig Boyce. Boyce is on 4, Bomber Harris is on 3. So let's see how they emerge from the first 10 after this competitive looking race number 10. And indeed, it's Daniel Davidson. Just as we thought that the battle was going to be the 2 riders on the outside, it's the gates 1 and 2 riders that spring into the lead, with Daniel Davidson in first place and Kauko NIEMINEN in second. Boyce is in third place, and would you believe it, Chris Harris right slap bang at the back, although he's now having a go at Boyce, but at the moment Daniel Davidson improving with every lap here this evening, and he's coming under some pressure from the Finnish rider Kauko NIEMINEN. Doesn't look as if Boyce is going to find a way through, so he's going to finish third, but he won't mind that so much because he can see his young Swedish partner, the young Swede in blue, Daniel Davidson, out in front. He'll be delighted to take 3 points from this race, because Chris Harris, as I said at the start of the race, previously unbeaten by an opponent. So that's the ups and downs of Speedway, but the Pirates won't mind. It's a 4-2, they forge on, and the scoreline now 34 to the Pirates, 26 to the Comets.
Well, David Ruud, British League Cup action tonight, and I've got to say you're flying out there. Heat 9 particularly, very impressed with that pass.
Yeah, I feel okay, but I haven't rode since 3 weeks now, so feel a little bit weird, but at the moment it's okay.
For us, obviously, the British League Cup and a night like tonight comes a bit strange after so many people were here on Monday seeing the Elite League win. You disappointed that you weren't riding on Monday?
Of course I want to be here, but Matt and Mike have made their decision that they want another guy, and it's up to them.
You didn't lose out entirely, though. You were still recognised as part of that squad, and you did get an award.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, because you did play your part very much so in the early part of the season. But tonight, as I say, flying, and you must be happy with your performance, even though you say that you haven't ridden for a while.
Yeah, so far. I have 1 heat more to go, but so far it's good.
It's good, and hopefully we'll be seeing you celebrating in much the same way maybe in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Well, only 1 point away now from securing that place in the semi-final, I think.
Okay, that's good.
Well, it's nice to meet young Daniel Davidson. We've not had a chance to speak to you before, but we're glad to see that you finally made it into the British League Cup side, and now this is your 2nd or 3rd outing, I think.
Yeah, it's my 3rd British League Cup match. I've done 1 challenge match also up at Workington.
Yeah. And certainly seem to be settling in this evening. The scores are coming quite freely.
Yeah, it was quite tough the first hit. I didn't really know where to go and where to stick on the track, because it was like new track almost. But after a while I got a hang of it, so it's quite good now.
Now I know that your brother obviously is an experienced racer over here in England. Do you see yourself coming over more regularly?
Yeah, I hope so for next year. That was I wanted to go already this year, but it was some problems back home, so I couldn't. But certainly for next year, I hope so.
Okay, and hopefully we'll see more of you here at Poole.
Yeah, hope so.
Okay, thanks for talking to us.
No problem.
Magnus, another fantastic evening for you this evening. You're really making this British League Cup team a place of your own.
Yeah, that's right. It's not on my own, you know. It's still 7 riders that are going out there, but yeah, going well, and it's hard when you're dropping a point. So, but that's the game. That's the part of the game sometimes.
That last ride with Antonio looked absolutely fantastic. You look really comfortable together, I've got to say. And of course, I think if I'm right, you do ride together in Sweden?
That's right. We have been riding together in the Swedish team, so we know each other well. So it's always nice when you know somebody, because you know that person never going to put you in the fence, or hopefully never pick up. Or so yeah, it's great to ride with somebody you know.
Yeah, it was a really good-looking partnership out there, I've got to say. And it is great to see Antonio over here, because I'm sure you've got experience of him, but for us, he's the new kid on the block, as it were, and he's been sensational, hasn't he?
Absolutely, you know, it's he's been good in Sweden as well, and fingers crossed that he can stay fit and do well now as well for the rest of the season. So, because that's the problem sometimes for the youngest rider, they're coming over and make it go a little bit too easy, and then all of a sudden they have a crash, and that affects them. So finger crossed he can keep fit, and if he do that, I reckon we have a new world champion in the future.
Absolutely, well, he looks every bit of it at the moment, and he's got plenty of time to come. For yourself, now you're in the shop window still, not an elite league place this year, but do you think maybe next year?
I don't know, we have probably talked about that like 10 times. We could do a whole videotape about it, yeah. So, but just wait and see, and after the meeting they had in November, and I feel like I'm still a good rider, so, and hopefully I have shown them that now as well. So when the season starts next year, finger crossed I got a new team to ride for. So
there may of course be a change in the setup over in England. We really don't know what's going to happen in the winter, and that may favour you.
Hopefully, sometimes it do and sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see if there will be 2 new teams coming up in the Elite League that maybe could help us out as well. So because they will probably be looking for riders as well. So yeah, the only thing I can do is just sit home and wait and see, and give them a few phone calls under the winter.
Absolutely. You're still contracted to Poole though, of course.
Absolutely, and that's the place I want to ride, so there's no doubt about that. But the main thing is to ride Speedway, so whatever I ride, I'm always going to be based down in Poole. So.
Okay, well we hope we see lots of you, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
The British League Cup also gives us a chance to meet Tony Primmer once again. Tony, just 1 point away now from a certain place in the semi-final. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It's good to be part of a team that's a reasonably strong team. With me only riding every now and then, it's hard to keep get on the pace and keep there. But with in such a good team, it's working out nice so far. One more hurdle, I suppose, the semi-final.
Absolutely. Well, a semi-final place would be against Bellevue. Obviously, once again, home and away. Have you ridden at Bellevue?
No, I haven't. No, it'll be a new experience on Monday. But if I'm there, and I can hang in there for the 4 laps of each race, I suppose. There's every chance I could get a point or 2.
Well, we hope so, and certainly we're hoping the Pirates will go all the way, and we'll see you celebrating in the same style that the Elite League guys were here on Monday.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, yep, great.
Perfect end of the season.
Yeah, that'd be just right.
Heat 12, David Ruud and Tony Primmer line up against Chris Harris and Blair Scott. And it's David Ruud storms into the lead. Tony Primmer and Chris Harris side by side. Chris Harris looking to have more drive into the turn 3 and possibly got the advantage here, but David Ruud out in front. Tony Primmer in lively form tonight, giving Chris Harris a run for his money in the early part of the race, although Chris Harris now seems to have settled in and obviously recovered from the shock it must have been to him after 3 unbeaten rides to take a last place in Heat 10. And here he is, although some way adrift of David Ruud, who's in sparkling form tonight, and the Pirates look as if they're going to consolidate on their lead and take a 4-2 from this one. And half a lap to go. David Ruud about to take the checkered flag, and This 4-2 is going to move Pirates into a 43-29 advantage on the night, and with the 10-point advantage from the first leg, that now means, with 4 heats still remaining, that the Pirates are indeed safely through. They mathematically unable to be caught by the Workington Comets, so they're through to the semi-finals of the British League Cup, and possibly more silverware on the horizon for Poole Speedway. Pirates taking a 4-2 from Heat 14 thanks to Antonio Lindback and an excellent last gasp pass by Scott Pegler on his Workington counterpart Chris Collins. So 52-32 the scoreline. Pirates 20 ahead going to the last race, where they feature David Ruud in the red helmet on grid 2, and Magnus ZETTERSTROM goes from gate 4 in the blue. For the visitors, Chris Harris in green goes from grid 1, and Carl Stonehewer, he lines up with a yellow helmet on grid 3. So top 2 from each side, making it a big finish here, although the Pirates already anticipating the visit of Bellevue next week in the semi-final. Nevertheless, here we are on tonight's last race, and it's Chris Harris out in front with David Ruud blasting around his outside. Magnus ZETTERSTROM cunningly switching from grid 4 back to the inside line on the first bend, although now he's out in the dirt as David Ruud passes Chris Harris. Magnus ZETTERSTROM looks as if he's going to do the same thing. Wow, this is really stunning stuff from the two Swedes here, and this may not be elite league racing, but it's certainly of a comparably high standard, as David Ruud and Magnus ZETTERSTROM, with a little over a lap to go, are going to round off the evening with a 5-1 maximum heat win, despite the strength of the opposition with Chris Harris and former Grand Prix rider Carl Stonehewer, a formidable visiting pairing. But it's going to mean a victory for the Pirates, safely through to the British League semi-finals against Bellevue Aces, and that's a fine win there from the Swedish pairing for Poole Pirates. And the final score in this British League Cup quarter-final, 57 to the Pirates, 33 to the Workington Comets.
So that 24-point victory to the Pirates here this evening, added to the 10 points that they already scored, of course, at Derwent Park, means that the Pirates win on aggregate by 34 points, and they've now secured their place in the semi-final. Well, they're off to Bellevue on Monday for the first leg of the semi-final, before returning here to Poole on Wednesday next. 7 days to wait, and it's final action again, this time in the British League Cup, and it's again everything to play for, and the Pirates heading down to a really fantastic celebration with a possible triple crown success for the end of the season to look forward to. We certainly hope that they'll be able to do it, and we'll be covering them. You'll be able to see that match from Wednesday here at Poole, right here on this video, so keep watching.